Our God is a destructor of patterns. The King of Kings, the God of hosts, the I am that I am, the Ancient of Days, is a destructor of patterns. There are those among us today who have been chosen to be a destructor of patterns. Okay? It might be you who may have been chosen to break the yoke of affliction in your lineage. You might be the X factor. When X factor in the competition, they are looking for something different. You might be the puzzle in your family to launch them into a new dimension. It is from you that a new chapter will be written. It is from you that a new narrative will be brought to light. And it will be known that it was during the day of Ngozi, daughter of Evelyn, or Sam, son of Ezekiah, was when that reign of captivity was broken over that bloodline. I'm sharing this to bring you to a place of holy provocation. I'm sharing this for you to understand that your warfare in the spirit realm is not for your own relief alone. It is for something bigger than you. I am sharing this for you to understand that there are generations of people depending upon your capacity to wage your war now, so that another generation can enter peace. David fought 66 battles and gave peace to Solomon. When it was time for Solomon to ascend the throne, everybody that was supposed to oppose him, every opposition, every kings, every territory, they became fearful of Israel because someone had fought the battle previously. If you are here and at this hour, and if you are in spirit, you will realize that the warfare you are fighting is not only for your own benefit. There are nations counting on you. There are children yet to be born waiting on you. They are hoping that you can fight and plant banners of victory. This brings me to the first lesson proper. The children of Israel had to pay a price for their generation to come during that era. It took them 40 years to get into the promised land. I'm going to go back to basics. And I'm going to map out the map so we understand what is going on because of this character in this story. We saw that our father Abraham had a wife, Sarah. They gave birth to Isaac. Isaac then continued the lineage, married Rebekah. They gave birth to the twins, Jacob and Esau. Jacob married two sisters of the same father. Why? We remember the story of Jacob, how he actually had a heart for Rachel, but in that family, Laban the father told him, in this family you can't marry the youngest and he made the oldest. So they had a deal. They had to serve extra. He married the work he has done, covered him to marry the elder sister Leah. Then later he married Rebekah. Okay? And it's quite interesting because Leah had 6 children, almost 7 children. I believe 6 boys and I think 1 girl. And Rebekah had 2 boys. I think that was Joseph and Benjamin. So I'm going to be zooming into Joseph. I'm going to be going back to Sunday school. So we see, I'm reading from there. We saw the story of Joseph, how his brothers sold him to slavery. He was captured, sold into slavery. He ended up in the house of Potiphar. And since of event happened, ended up in prison, ended up to become what? The Prime Minister of Israel. And building up. He was on the throne as a Prime Minister, and he prepared for the days of difficulty, because there's going to be drought in that land. And they saw everybody survived, people came. But he knew something was going to happen, that the Israelites were still going to escape. And he made them make a promise that wherever they are going in the future, they should gather his bones and take along with them. At that time, he was approaching 110 years old. And the unexpected happened. The Egyptian, they felt that the Israelites were growing in numbers a lot, and they felt threatened. And Moses had to lead them. Very interesting story. Then they set up on the journey. And then we saw that as they were going in the journey, they had several routes they should have taken. But the closest route that should have taken them 2 weeks was through the Philistines. It should have taken them 2 weeks, but something happened. God said, no, you are not going to take that route. If I allow you to take that route, you will die. All of them will die. They don't have any experience and everything. So God took them through what? The longer route. Something happened again. God promised them, he made a promise with Israel. He said, my mighty hand will be with you. Before I started this, I prayed for God to grant us the capacity to receive his word. Please be patient. God said, my mighty hand will be with you. What did God do? What did he do? He sent them an angel to them. Something interesting happened. If you are reading that chapter, the Bible might say, my presence, and you might be wondering, what is different between an angel and my presence? They are the same thing. This is what happened. The angel God sent to them, the children of Israel couldn't communicate with that angel. They don't know that angel. Only Moses was able to see and communicate with that angel. But what happened was what they saw was my presence, which was the angel. What happened was that they saw a cloud. They saw a big cloud of pillar by day and a pillar of fire by night. Okay, instead of that angel. Very interesting. If you don't want to enjoy that, you can zoom to the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 19. Then what happened? This, my angel, that acted as clouds, acted as a barrier between the Israelites and the children of Israel, and the Israelites and the Egyptians. And it protected them all through the journey. That is by day. Then the pillar of cloud by night acted as a fire. So in their burning bush, they are able to see why the Egyptians were in disarray. Okay? So this brings me to speaking about the